Okay, so I saw this deal about Italy getting Mussolini 2.0 elected. Um, I'm gonna let Amy Goodman here talk about it for a minute, and then we'll
This
I'll
is
break in
Democracy
and
Now!,
make some
democracynow.org, The
comments.
War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman. We begin today's show in Italy, where the country's first far-right leader since Benito Mussolini, Giorgia Meloni, has declared victory as the right-wing alliance led by her Brothers of Italy party looks set to win a clear majority in the next parliament. Meloni is also allied with Spain's far-right Vox party, Poland's ruling Nationalist Law and Justice Party, Sweden's newly formed coalition government led by the anti-immigrant far-right Sweden Democrats Party, which emerged out of Sweden's neo-Nazi movement. Far-right French politician Marine Le Pen's party hailed Meloni's strong showing as a lesson in humility to the European Union. Meloni has vowed to shift the EU's politics sharply to the right. The pan-European progressive movement, co-founded by former Greek Prime Minister Yanis Varoufakis, said in a statement on the Italian election, quote, "Italians must now repeat what their ancestors once did, defeat fascism, but not for the return of the politics as usual that brought the fascists to power in the first place."
This is very important here, but not for the return of the politics as usual that brought the fascist into power in the first place. Fascism is not the problem. Fascism is a symptom of the problem. The problem is you have a population that is unrepresented. You've got epic income inequality. The rich have never been richer. The poor have never been more poor. You've got, I don't know about there, but at least here we have a one party political system that only cares about the corporations, that only care about rich people. You have massive ignorance. We've been cutting money for education generation after generation after generation. And this is what you get. This is the result of those conditions. It's the same thing that happened with the Weimar Republic in Germany. It's the same thing that happened in Italy. Same thing that's happening in Murikkka. And the corporate news media, the blue team corporate news media is going to come out after this and talk about, oh, we've got to crack down on free speech. It's Trumpy the clown is the whole problem. Oh, we've just got to defeat Trumpy. Once Trumpy's gone, everything's going to be perfect. Trumpy the clown was not the problem. Trumpy the clown was a symptom of the problem. All these same things that are going on have are going on here. And this people like Chris Hedges talk about how the orange clown is not going to be the one that brings fascism, total fascism to America. It will be he will set it up for the next leader that, and not Brandon. Brandon has been Trumpy without the orange makeup. So it'll be, well, I'll talk about that in a minute. I'm going to let her go on here for a minute. And then there's a part I want to skip to.
As he said. As leader of the biggest party in the winning alliance from Sunday's election, Meloni is expected to become Italy's first woman prime minister after the new government sworn in. She addressed supporters Sunday night.
Questa è sicuramente per tante persone una notte di orgoglio.
This is surely for many.
Okay, so we're going to skip to this lady.
Professor Ruth Ben-Ghiat, welcome back to Democracy Now! Can you just start off by talking about, Giorgia Meloni has declared victory. Talk about her and her party, what they represent.
Yeah, Meloni is somebody who was a hardcore neo-fascist who was with 15, she joined the party that was founded right after Benito Mussolini's original party was banned in 1945. And this became the fourth largest party, the neo-fascist party called the Italian Social Movement. And she was not only a militant, she became by the 90s the head of its student organization. And the flame, if you look at the logo of her party called Brothers of Italy today, which was founded in 2012, she insisted on keeping a tricolor flame in the logo. And that is the flame, that's the symbol of the original neo-fascist party. And over the years, many people have told her to get rid of that flame, but she won't. So this tells us a lot about her loyalties, and she really sees her party as carrying the heritage of fascism into today, so much so that Ignazio La Russa, who's a party elder, let's say, he said a few days ago, "We are all heirs of the Duce."
Huh. Let me go to a clip of Giorgia Meloni as a teenager describing her support for the fascist dictator Benito Mussolini.
I believe that Mussolini was a good politician, which means that everything he did for Italy.
So take her from her teenage.
Okay, I want to skip ahead here till it's like 9:50. She makes a good point here about. Let's go right to here.
Affects Hungary. All of the leaders in these places have congratulated Meloni on winning,
Including
Yeah,
Hillary Clinton, by the way, was huge on this.
I will. I just want to mention you see the yes and the no and her style of speaking. She's a demagogue. And at the end of my book, Strongmen, which is about male leaders and machismo, I predicted that there will be a female led far right authoritarian government. We thought it would be Le Pen, but you hear her style of speaking, which is very much the charismatic demagogue. So they can come in the figure of a woman too. She is part of this far right international, a kind of, you could call it a second fascist international. I studied and wrote about the first one in the 30s and 40s. And they, and Hungary is a node, as a hub. And they're very active in trying to have this kind of new political culture that is transnational. Fascism has always been transnational.
So let me make the prediction from murikkka. Shillery. People think Shillery's gone. Oh, she's done. Shillery is not done. She has 3 more moves that she's going to make. One, the first thing she's going to do is she's going to dump Bill. There'll be some Epstein, oh, he was on Epstein's plane 26 times or 28 times, whatever it was. A big thing about that, she's going to dump Bill. 2, she'll switch back to being officially Hillary Rodham, which legally that is her name, Hillary Rodham. Hillary Clinton is not a person. So she's going to go back and start using Hillary Rodham again. And 3, she's going to go back to the red team, which, let's keep it real, she's always been on the red team. Now, Shillery, I have actually seen, unfortunately, Hillary speak. I've heard her speak once, and I've seen her speak once. Both times, she started out talking about, quote, being a good Republican girl from Arkansas. And for the longest time, I never understood. I'm like, wait a minute, she's running for the blue team. Why is she talking about what a good Republican she is? This is all planned. There will be a Shillery ad where it's got Shillery through the years. I'm a good Republican girl, good Republican girl, good Republican girl, 1982, 1986. It's going to have Shillery through the years. And at the end of the ad, it's going to be Shillery, owning the Dems since 1980, whatever. And Shillery will be the savior of the corporate red team. And my prediction for probably 2014, the next time there's an actual competitor, or maybe 2024, maybe 2028, probably 2024 will be the blue team will be, I don't know, some celebrity, maybe Oprah, more likely, I don't know, Michelle Obama will be the president. Vice president will be some mainstream, I don't know, Pete Buttigieg. And on the red team, the red team, the savior of the red team, Hillary Rodham, will be the president. And I don't know, Marco Rubio or Tom Cotton, some slightly less right-wing, little more mainstream Republican will be the VP. That will be who brings fascism to America. And she will go all the way to the right. She will turn the dial all the way to the right and then put a pipe wrench on the knob and jam it even further to the right. We'll go on and hear about Mussolini and Hitler
And
here.
the fact that she's polylingual, she speaks 4 languages, has always been a help to her. So she's a real GOP, right? It's Islamophobic. It's in terms of how constrained she is. Berlusconi brought fascists into the government, neo-fascists for the first time. He broke a taboo. And now Italy has the first female, far-right prime minister.
Especially for young people, and you teach, Ruth Ben-Ghiat, young people at New York University. Can you talk about who Mussolini was to understand what she is embracing, and Mussolini and Hitler's connection?
Yeah, it's really important that the reason I mentioned Berlusconi also is when he brought back neo-fascists into the government, he also did a whole rehab whitewashing job, which affected generations of Italians. He actually told the then journalist Boris Johnson in 2003, Mussolini never killed anyone. Now, instead, Mussolini's dictatorship committed genocide in Libya, mass war crimes in Ethiopia, used gas in its colonies, participated in the Holocaust. It was the first dictatorship, and he was
Yeah, people forget about that. Italy took over Ethiopia in, was it 1936, 35, sometime in there? That was like kind of, I mean, it was in Africa, so nobody gives a shit. But that was kind of the beginning of World War II.
He was so successful in his repression and his propaganda. He was a big star in America. He had a syndicated column in Hearst newspapers that Hitler worshipped him through the entire 1920s. And Hitler actually learned a lot from him, including Mussolini was a fan of great replacement theory. And he gets short shrift. Hitler is the one who is remembered. But Mussolini was very, very important, very innovative. And you see that Meloni is part of this heritage.
Can you talk about those who say, no, she is not fascist, she's conservative? And then let's talk about not only her influence in Europe, but also in the United States and her relationship with Donald Trump.
Yeah, well, this is what do we call
Okay,
these
now they're
things?
going to go into the Trumpy the Clown thing. We can skip that. But yeah, I think this is going to be important. I think it's going to be a big deal. I mean, and once again, let me say, Shillery is coming. If anyone who thinks that Shillery is gone, Shillery's not going to be back. I mean, I hope I'm wrong, of course.